Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. We're going to talk about Hotline Miami Wildlife number 2. This is fantastic. This is a very Hotline Miami book. The only complaint I have about the book, and I do this with those DC books, it's this cardstock cover, man. It's super heavy duty and tough and rugged, and I like it, but it will not lay closed after you've opened the book. That's the only complaint I got. Now check out the cover. You've got the nuking of San Francisco, and you got the dude's rabbit mask here. So we're seeing on the cover how these things relate to one another. The rabbit face is coming out of the nuclear cloud. It's emerging from it. So him becoming this character in this book on the cover is being shown as a direct consequence of the nuking in San Francisco. In fact, the nuking in San Francisco, we actually flash back to 1986, and we see him. Where's it at? We see him seeing it. Great stuff. Super traumatic. The universe that Hotline Miami takes place in is the 80s, where there was a war between the U.S. and Russia in Hawaii, and the Russians ended the war by nuking San Francisco. Now we start off the book in the middle of an action sequence. Now it's very Hotline Miami, and if you've played the games, you know what I'm talking about. The narrative structure of a Hotline Miami game, for the most part, especially the first one, is here's a date, here's a phone call, here's a simple direction, and here's a whole lot of people that get killed. For most of the first game, that's the narrative structure. You get a brief intermezzo of some real life stuff, and then it's back to doing that. This dude here in the mask, he's got this bag, he's got guns, dudes are chasing him, they want the bag back. He's in a great firefight sequence. He does some clever things in the course of this. I really like this two-page spread here. He gets his Uzi out. He's not so good at shooting it. Like, that recoil is clearly out of his control. But right there, takes out the street light, which gives him some darkness, some cover. He hides. And one of the things I really appreciated in this one, I don't think I appreciated as much in the first one. It's the white space. Notice that there's no hard boundaries. There's no deep black panel line around the panels. Maybe if the two are overlapping, we had a white separator, white background. But it gives us the freedom. We just go outside of panels all the time. We just bleed into that. And every once in a while, like right here, we get a cool full bleed thing where we just go all the way to the edge of the paper. It looks great. Very 80s with its color choices, very 80s all around. I like it a lot. The action sequences are tons of fun. They're gritty, grungy, bloody, messy. It's what you want. If you've played Hotline Miami, this is what you want. Now, okay, granted, we're kind of playing loose with the game's rules, because in the game, a single pistol shot will kill you most of the time, not all the time. And will kill the bad guys almost all the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Here, this dude, he gets shot up a bunch. He takes a couple bullets to, like, the arm and stuff and keeps going. I think that's okay. I'm not going to, like, quibble over that. But it's really well-constructed action. And then in Hotline Miami fashion, we cut immediately from the action to March 10. It's the aforementioned intermezzo. Him hanging out with his buddies. They chat. They have a good time. They're like, yo, how did your thing go last night? And he's like, it's been a while since I felt this good. Now, he was just murdering people the previous night. That's what that sequence was here, March 9. This happens March 10. He's hanging out with his buddies. Then we do that flashback to 1986 when the bomb fell in San Francisco. Then we cut back to more action stuff. We're following the right narrative structure to tell a Hotline Miami story. I really appreciate that. It makes me think that the people that wrote this kind of like the games. They at least like the games or the way the story is structured enough that they're following it with their own story. So if you're into Hotline Miami, you should be checking this book out. It's from a behemoth who I've never heard of before this series. Their production values are top notch. Sorry for whacking the book into the camera. The back cover, like the 50 blessings symbol, looks great. Everything about this is just great. The dialogue is fine. In the combat sequences, there's not really any dialogue because there shouldn't be. There's some cursing and stuff. When he's talking to his buddies, it's that normal, everyday kind of slice of life stuff that, well, people give a lot of creators flack for. Like you don't want to see like She-Hulk hanging out in like a diner eating a muffin, talking about like boring stuff. You want She-Hulk to be like punching a villain. You don't want, I don't know, Captain America sitting down and eating a slice of apple. No, actually, I take that back. I wouldn't mind seeing a comic book where Captain America sits down and eats a slice of apple pie, and he talks about America. I think that might be kind of fun. But there's a little bit of that slice of life stuff to ground the character, to take away from the insanity that he's faced with. It fits really well with what's going on. It helps show how that character is reacting. It's a necessary part of the narrative structure that we're going for in this. I really dig it. Check it out. Uh, Dudes, it's only $3.99. Like, DC wants to sell you a book with worse quality than this for more money. So just do it. Just go out there, get this while you can. I don't even know if you can still back order these or what with your shop, but try. It's worth it. Maybe you have to wait for the trade, but you know what? It's worth it. I really think this is pretty cool stuff. Take care of yourselves. Man, let's just flip back to that. Take care of yourselves. Don't end up like this guy and be on the run from a bunch of armed dudes. Like, that's a bad place to be. Bye bye.